Everyone looked at Levi in bewilderment. What? Leave it to you. You just got out of prison. Do you have the money? I'll come up with something. Levi had a card with him, but he didn't know how much was inside. Don't force yourself and do anything that is out of line. We'll just let it go if things don't work out. Zoe said, looking at Levi worryingly, afraid he would do something extreme. Don't worry. I'll take care of it, Levi replied, holding her hands. The next day, Levi went out alone. As soon as he arrived at the intersection, a Maybach came to a halt at the side. Asher Dragon got down from the car and ushered Levi to get in. Any updates on the Garrison family? Is anyone coming to apologize? Levi asked. Asher Dragon shook his head. Not one of them are repenting. A cold glint flashed across Levi's eyes. It's time to show them a little something. Arriving at the bank, Levi withdrew $5 million cash in one go. The staff at the bank looked at him, appalled, and was especially horrified to see the man in military uniform standing next to him. That's the King of War. Hans, the general manager of Northampton Bank's head office, came to serve in person. In the end, he and Haley, a tall woman with a pleasant-looking face, helped to carry the briefcases of cash from the VIP passageway. Haley couldn't help but steal a second glance at Levi, who seemed familiar to her. His identity is so intimidating, even our chief almost ran over here. After sending them off, Hans drew in a deep breath. Who was that, Mr. Lowry? Haley asked curiously. Is the one next to him in a military uniform someone famous? That person is a bona fide King of War. Having the King of War as his follower. Think about it. Hans said lowly. Damn. Haley gasped in shock. So don't mention about today and keep everything confidential. Haley nodded. Understood. No matter who asks, just say it's a loan, and forge a receipt or something. Yes, sir. At night, when Levi returned home carrying 5 briefcases full of cash, Zoe and her parents were dumbfounded. They counted them 3 times, and lo and behold, there were indeed 5 million. Where did you get so much money? Please don't tell me it's from the loan sharks. Zoe freaked out. What loan sharks? Don't worry about it. Anyhow, I got the money, so use this to solve your urgent problem first, Levi said. Yes, let's solve this first, Aaron concurred. But 2.8 million is enough. Why did you get 5 million? Zoe asked in confusion. You'll see when the time comes. Upon hearing the news that they were going to pay up, Henry came to collect the money himself. Damn, Aaron. That was fast, Henry jeered. You sure there's 2.8 million? It must be hard on you. I had thought that you couldn't afford to pay us back. Aaron glared at him. That is none of your concern. Anyway, I've put together 2.8 million, and that settles our debt. Who said it's 2.8 million, sneered Henry, changing the subject. We need to take the many days of interest into account. Here's the IOU. Including the interest, it should be about 5 million plus, but we'll just charge you 5 million. What? 5 million? How is it 5 million? Even the loan sharks are not as demanding as you. Aaron and Zoe were thunderstruck. Dad lent it to us unconditionally back then, Caitlin said. How can there be interest? My dear Caitlin, you are so naive. Dad borrowed the money to help you, but we're all entrepreneurs. Let's not bring familial affection into this matter. What can I do if you people didn't read the IOU carefully? Zoe and Aaron took the IOU and calculated them, and indeed there was interest. They finally knew why Levi had brought $5 million. However, it was obvious that the IOU had been amended. How cruel. I can't believe Grandpa is doing this to me. Am I just an outsider to him? Zoe teared up. Aaron too was crestfallen. Is he even my biological father? How could he use such dirty tricks on us? What? You won't admit it? Okay, fine. I'll see you then. Henry sniggered. Why wouldn't we? $5 million, right? Here, take it. Levi put 5 briefcases of cash in front of Henry. After checking them, Henry and a few others were gobsmacked. It's real money. And there's exactly $5 million. Levi recorded the scene and tore up the IOU. Where did you get $5 million? Henry was on the verge of doubting reality. That's none of your business. Get lost. Levi chased them out. At the Lopez residence, everyone was staring at the $5 million on the table with eyes and mouth wide agape. How did they get this money? Did they go all out to collect $5 million just to prevent us from touching that $10 billion project? Fabian arrived just then. Dad, I've found out that Levi borrowed these $5 million. He seems to have some property that can be used as a collateral, he said. Are you sure? Harry asked seriously. I'm sure. The person in charge of this transaction was Ms. Haley Stinson, the senior director of Northampton Bank's head office. I somehow managed to contact her, and she admitted herself it was a person named Levi Garrison who borrowed it. I'd spent $100,000 to get a copy of the invoice. After receiving the invoice, Harry confirmed it was true. Ha ha, borrowed. Let's see how he's going to pay it back. The biggest question is, how are they going to work on this project? They would still have to come to us in the end. Zoe felt it was too surreal to solve such a big issue. She was touched when she learned from the Lopez family that it was Levi who borrowed the money to settle their debts. We should bring in investments and start the project as soon as possible. But that's another big problem there. We'll need lots of funds to develop this project. According to Zoe's budget, a startup capital of $30 million would be required and at least $70 million would be needed subsequently. Aaron gave a low moan of despair. It was too difficult a task to accomplish. Do you have any idea? Asked Zoe, looking at Levi. Levi smiled. We'll just look for big companies then. We'll try door to door. This project is a gold mine. I'm sure many companies will be interested. Zoe nodded. I know that, but I'm afraid they'll ask for a lot in return once they agree. There will be many overlord terms. There's no harm in trying, right? You'll never know if there's someone who would invest with no strings attached if you don't try, Levi beamed. How is that possible? Zoe was deeply suspicious.